I'm Archbishop Mark Coleridge, and you are watching Q&A, question and answer for the Catholic leader. The Feast of Divine Mercy, which we celebrate on the first Sunday after Easter, takes us back to the remarkable figure of Saint Faustina. Faustina was a Polish nun who lived in what was a pretty brutal and merciless time. It was the time between the two wars. The First World War, which was called the Great War, had done nothing really to end the conflict. It had only sown the seeds of what became the still greater conflict of the Second World War. So they were really two parts of the single conflict. And in between those two parts, God speaks to the heart of this Polish nun. And out of that communication of God with Faustina, there comes this revelation of the divine mercy. The mercy which is central to the whole Bible. But what Sister Faustina is given is a new way of speaking about the mercy of God, which is the heart of the Bible and the heart of the good news that Jesus Christ is. In other words, God is merciful and God is mercy in a very often merciless world. So here in this moment, we are given new eyes to see the mercy of God in a fresh way because of Faustina. We're given new ears to hear the good news of God's mercy in a fresh way. So what comes to us is a call to be merciful in a merciless world, to be countercultural in that sense. How then best to celebrate the Feast of Divine Mercy? Well, there are the prayers and the devotions that have come to us through Faustina. But in the end, the best way to celebrate the Feast of Divine Mercy is to commit ourselves to the merciful life. In other words, to be merciful. Because we can say all the prayers we like, we can take on board all the devotions we like, but unless the prayers and the devotions lead us to a deeper living of the mystery of God's mercy, then in the end they are words to the wind. Pope Francis has been very clear in his call to live a more deeply merciful life. It was Pope John Paul II who gave to the Church the Feast of Divine Mercy. He was very attracted to the figure of Saint Faustina, who came from the same part of Poland as he did. So he it was who gave us the feast. But it's Pope Francis who, following in the footsteps of Pope John Paul II, points to new ways in which we can be merciful. The mercy that looks for those who are perhaps hidden, but who are on the margin, those who are broken, those who are distressed. So the question that comes to the whole Church on the Feast of Divine Mercy is, how can we live mercy now? How can we go to the margin, to the edges of things? How can we reach out to embrace those who are broken, distressed, in need of healing? That's the question of the feast. And the question takes us right to the heart of Easter. And that's why we celebrate Divine Mercy immediately after Easter. Because what is Easter? It's the power of God, the mercy of God understood and experienced as power, and as power enough to break the power of death. It's mercy that raises Jesus from the dead. So for us on the Feast of Divine Mercy, to say yes to mercy is really to say yes to Easter and to undertake a ministry of resurrection, to raise up those who are sitting in darkness and dwelling in the shadow of death. So the best way to celebrate the Feast of Divine Mercy, not just on the first Sunday after Easter, but right through the year, is to be merciful, to live the mercy of Easter.